Hi Mindvalley family, welcome to this Q&A with John and Missy Butcher. Guys, so glad you could join us here at Mindvalley HQ.
Thanks so much, Vishen.
We're happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Well, we get a lot of questions from you guys. I got a whole piece of paper here with common questions that we have from all of you on the Lifebook Quest, on John and Missy Butcher, on Lifebook. And I know many of you are thinking about enrolling in the Lifebook Quest. These are the questions that you wanted me to ask John and Missy so you can make the best decision. So, we ready to get started?
Do it.
Awesome. So the first thing is, John, Missy, you guys already have Lifebook as a really successful seminar in Chicago. Why the Quest?
Well, you know, I think what we wanted to do with the Quest is really do a sort of an introductory program that would familiarize people with the 12 categories, allow them to discover what the 12 categories are that we really focus on and deep dive on in Lifebook, and do a few exercises that really get them familiar with how to start to move these categories forward in their life and make big progress.
And I think a key thing there is that, you know, Michael Beckwith said that often when you can see a framework or a new model of living, instantly your life changes. And one of the reasons why I was super excited about working with John and Missy and bringing the Lifebook Quest is that often I found that just understanding the 12 categories and the 4 questions you go deep into in every category instantly changes people, like magnificent shifts, because it gets us out of that slumber. It gets us out of living a life based in the rules or the bullshit rules of the culturescape that define life based on success in 2 areas, finance and career. And finance and career are part of Lifebook, but the other 10 areas, that's what really leads to balance.
And no, it's all about consciousness.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing on this planet. We're seeking to help people raise their consciousness, just like this process and system raised our consciousness.
Yeah,
right?
totally. And the Quest was a perfect way for us to get it to a lot of people.
Right, exactly.
Super affordable, not a lot of time commitment, so
Right.
it was great.
Easy to use, super affordable.
And very powerful.
And very, very, very powerful. So speaking of that, you guys have an incredible story on how Lifebook started in the first place, right? I'd love for you guys to share the story because we get that a lot. How did John and Missy figure out Lifebook? Where does it come from?
Well, you know, this was a tool that we created for ourselves so that we could create our own extraordinary life. How long did we have our Lifebook before we shared it?
15 years maybe?
I'd say at least 15 years. There was one Lifebook in the world, and it was our Lifebook. And it was, you know, it came out of a very difficult time in my life, actually. I had a pretty severe anxiety disorder about 25 years ago. And I mean, it was a very, very difficult, painful time in my life. And that's when my personal development journey started. What was the first program that we did?
I believe it was Attacking Anxiety. And then it was Tony Robbins.
My dad bought me a couple personal development programs.
Yeah.
I'd never experienced personal development before, but I was in so much pain at that time in my life. My dad was up late watching infomercials on TV, and there's Tony, right? And he bought me Tony Robbins' Personal Power
That's
2, and I did that program, and it turned my life upside down. And so I started taking notes on the things in that program and then a couple other programs that I really wanted to integrate into my life. And this little notebook that I was working with ended up over time evolving into the very first version of our Lifebook.
And it really became a book of wisdom of the things that we were learning.
And so then over time we started realizing that there were certain areas of our life that could not be overlooked or left behind or left to chance. And we started listing what those categories were: our health and fitness, our love relationship, our career, our financial life, parenting, etc. And so the categories evolved, and then the 4 questions evolved. 15 years later, we have this amazingly sophisticated, book that contains a vivid description of the people that we want to become and the life that we want to live. And I'm carrying it around everywhere, but nobody knows what it is. And then about 15 years ago or so, I think we I don't even remember. I guess it was at a business meeting.
It
right?
was.
It was at a business meeting. I was doing a startup. It was in the health and fitness category. We were stuck on some issue, and I brought out my Lifebook and I said, here's how I handle that in my life. And I opened it up, and I remember looking around the room, and you could have heard a pin drop, because everyone's always seen me carrying this book, but no one knew what it was. And so I had a couple guys come up to me after that meeting and say, how can I make one of those? And I said, I don't know, maybe. Why don't you come over to my house for a weekend and we'll try? So we took a couple friends through just a process that we invented for them, just to help them make their own life book. And the results were so extraordinary that we realized that what we had created for ourselves was a scalable tool that anybody could use to create the same results that we created. So at some point we decided to bring Lifebook to the world. And that was not an easy decision to make, because as you know, we're very private people. We like to kind of, we love our privacy. But there was no choice. There was no choice.
Once we saw what this thing could do, it was like we just had to do it.
We asked ourselves, what if we went to our graves without having shared this gift that we'd been given? That was just not an acceptable situation. So at the end of the day, we decided to share it with the world. That was a long answer, but that's how it happened.
And my wife and I took Lifebook in 2010. I think it was May 2010. It fundamentally changed my life. I released a 7-minute video of it on YouTube on how Lifebook helped me, actually caused me to shut down a startup I had started. I even had $2 million in funding for that startup, but I was miserable, right? And because of Lifebook, I decided to sell my shares, abandon that, and do something that really filled me with joy.
And look at what...
And that's how I started. That's how I started A-Fest. So A-Fest was sparked from Lifebook, and in that video, I show what I wrote down in Lifebook before when A-Fest was nowhere even in my head, and how all of that manifested within 1 year. It's crazy how when you put these things down, so many things change, right? I went to John and Missy, and we were trying to figure out if Lifebook was something we could bring to Mindvalley. But for almost 7 years,
wasn't time yet.
It wasn't time, right? Until we launched our Quest app, and our Quest app had taken off like crazy, and we thought, what if we created a shorter version of Lifebook for Quest? Because when we took the seminar, my wife and I combined, we paid about 10 grand, because it's a really high-end seminar. It's high-end people. It's world-class entrepreneurs are attending it. And we wanted to get something with the 12 categories for the masses. The Quest platform was the perfect platform. And that's how things took off. It took 7 years for us to finally come together and figure it out.
Man, when we did come together, look what happened. We're very proud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is another question we have. If I take the Lifebook Quest, will I be as sexy as you and Missy?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah! Wow. Yes, definitely. Just by taking action and being conscious, you're sexy. Come on.
I also want to state that I hope you guys realize this man and woman, they're grandparents. How many grandkids?
4.
We have 3.
Oh, do we
4.
3? Sorry.
Well, who's the 4th?
4 kids, 3 grandkids.
We have too many of all. That's the thing.
It's amazing how you guys live life with your family and you travel with your kids. But that's ridiculous. You guys are the fittest, best looking set of grandparents I've ever seen. So speaking of age, here's a question. Some people have stated that they're too old to go through Lifebook, while others have asked, how do I teach my kids about Lifebook? Does age matter? And is there a minimum age or a maximum age?
Okay, I want to answer this question by saying that we have live coaching calls for the Quest that we love. We love connecting with our Lifebook members who are going through the Quest. And it must have been a couple weeks ago.
Yes, it was.
We were shocked.
Because you were making a joke about how old you were.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sure that most of you are younger than me, but blah, blah, blah.
Do you guys share your age?
I don't know if we have. This time we do. We say it all the time.
She's 50 and I'm a lot older than her. So.
I'm 49.
Well, in a couple months.
Yeah, see, it matters when you're this old.
That's true.
It's like, no, I'm only 49 and a half.
So here's what happened. We were like, I'm sure that most of you are younger than us, and all of a sudden we started getting hundreds of comments in the next few seconds. I'm 72, I'm 69, I'm 84. We couldn't believe it. So many people going through Lifebook that are, sort of retirement age.
They're loving it. Yeah.
Here's the deal. What Lifebook is about is getting clear on what you want, why you want it, and what you need to do to get it. And you are never too old to do that. You're also never too young to do that.
It's true.
But just today, I was talking to my 13-year-old son, Justin, and I said, Just, you're getting ready to go through Lifebook Ultimate. I want you to write down everything that you want this year. You want a four-wheeler, you want a new pair of Nike shoes, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I want you to write down everything that you want this year, because that's what we're going to work on in this course. So my answer to that is you're never too young, never too old.
And you can
Fantastic.
teach your kids when they're little. You can teach them just the principles
Yeah.
of Lifebook. So it's at any age, for sure.
Awesome. And John's age will remain a magical, mysterious number.
He's 55. No, he's 56.
Yeah, almost 56.
Almost 56.
Couple weeks.
Okay, next question. You guys ready? How do you work on Lifebook if you're doing it with a partner? Is it best if you guys sync on your ideas, beliefs, and strategies? What if you don't have a partner?
You should answer this.
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good at this.
So, Lifebook is designed for an individual to go through. It's a process of individual thinking, but there is no tool more effective that a couple could have than a Lifebook to work through the problems and basically just the situations that couples need to work through in order to create an extraordinary love relationship. Because 90% of the problems that a couple will experience in life will be because they're not on the same page in one or more of these categories. He's a spender and she's a saver, or he's a disciplinarian with the kids and she's lenient with the kids, and they have problems because of that, or a million other things that knock couples sideways. Lifebook is a structure to allow you to talk through all those issues and get on the same page.
Yeah, it's an awesome communication tool.
Yeah, now, as far as our Lifebook, we had one Lifebook for many, many years,
Yeah,
right?
because we would talk,
Right.
and I'm not so much of a writing your goals down person.
Right. So basically, I controlled our Lifebook, and everything that was in our Lifebook was a result of our thinking, but I sort of managed it until you went through the Lifebook for the first time in 2012.
No, it's 2007, I think.
Oh, was it that early?
When we started the company.
Okay. So then Missy made her own Lifebook, and now what we do is we coordinate our Lifebooks. So obviously, her health and fitness strategy is going to be different than mine. Her intellectual strategy may be different than mine. But when it comes to our love relationship vision, when it comes to our parenting strategy, when it comes to our financial strategy, we better be on the same page or we're going to be running into trouble.
Yeah.
So
good
the
for both.
short answer is
Yeah.
Lifebook is for individuals, but it's an amazing tool for a couple to coordinate so that they can really get on the same page.
Right on.
Now, the next question we have is, how is the Lifebook Quest different from the Lifebook Seminar?
That's a great question. The Lifebook Quest was designed to deeply familiarize you with the 12 categories and give you some exercises to get you started creating momentum in each of the categories. That's what it is. And it raises your consciousness and it increases life quotients. We've seen that because we've got an assessment that people take before and after. The Lifebook process itself, the Lifebook program, is quite different than that. The Lifebook process is it's a process of thinking where you basically answer 4 questions in each of the 12 categories. So there's 48 total exercises, the product of which is a 120-page book that you wrote on the person you want to become and the life you want to live. So they're both exploring the 12 categories, but one is meant to be an introductory course to get you familiar and to get you ready, and then the Lifebook program itself, you actually do the work and create your Lifebook. Was that a good explanation?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Now the next thing is, and this is a common question we get, how is Lifebook different from goal setting?
Goal setting is a piece of the Lifebook process, but it's a relatively small piece of the Lifebook process. What Lifebook does is Lifebook helps you get clear on your life philosophy, your beliefs across the 12 categories of life that control your behavior, by the way. This is a very, very important thing for a human being to figure out about their life. Lifebook gets you crystal clear on what you want, your vision, with clarity. I mean, there's no fuzziness at all after going through the Lifebook process. Lifebook gets you clear on why you want it, the purpose, the reason behind your vision. And then it helps you get clear on your strategies or what you need to do to get it. And that's where goals live. So if you want to be in incredible physical shape and have 10% body fat and whatever your physical vision is, you get really clear on that vision. You dial in all of the good things that will happen in your life if you're able to achieve that. You might sort of explore some of the negative consequences if you don't take action. So you're really dialing in your purpose. And then you start to think about your strategy. Well, what do I need to do? Do I need to get a meal plan in place? Do I need to get a health and fitness program in place? That's where goals live. So Vishen, I'd say that goal setting is a part of Lifebook, but it's just one component of what makes the program so powerful.
Right. And there's a really beautiful aspect of Lifebook that I love. You see, in my book, I wrote about Lifebook in the Code of the Extraordinary Mind, which was a best-selling book. And a lot of people heard about Lifebook there and started asking me questions about it. But the reason I mentioned it is because in my book, I wrote a chapter and I mentioned a line along the lines of goal setting in the modern world is a dangerous practice. And the reason is because usually when we set goals, we are setting goals through imitation. We are imitating what the media, what past generations, what our religions, our cultures say we have to do to be successful in life. What I like about Lifebook is John and Missy gently deconstruct the rules that we may be blindly following. And they give you the freedom to choose goals that come from your soul, from your heart, and are aligned with your happiness. And that makes a massive difference.
And I want to say something about that real quick, and that is that most people aren't used to doing that.
Right.
It's difficult for some people to do that. We spend a lot of time gently guiding you through, because most people have been conditioned to, here's how you're supposed to live your life, here's how you're supposed to do your job, here's how you're supposed to do your relationship, here's how you're supposed to educate your kids. Most of those systems are broken, and few people really have developed the internal strength to figure out what it is they want, separate from what society has taught them all their lives. And this is one thing that we really take time to help you through in the Lifebook process.
Yet another question is, how is this different from Mindvalley's 3 most important questions, which is a free method which is out there, right? The 3 most important questions is a very simplified bucket list process. So it's not about looking at your life into 12 categories, it's more like a bucket list, right? And it's a very effective tool, it's very rapid, you can do it in 7 minutes. It's done in high schools, it's been done in corporations around the world, and it's completely free. Lifebook Quest goes significantly beyond, because you spend time looking at all 12 categories, dispelling the rules, the outdated rules in these categories, and then defining what these categories mean for you within the Lifebook framework. So it's a far more advanced process, although both of them are about getting clear in what you want in life so that you can be truly happy.
Nice.
Okay, so here's a common question we get. This is a tough one. Can you give us an example of a situation where a strategy in your Lifebook did not work at all? How do you realign and update your vision?
Oh, I can give you about 1,200 examples. Okay, so I'll give you one, and I'll give you one big one. In 2003, I did a startup that didn't work. Cost millions of dollars and took years of my life. And when you are working on something like that you're so,
it was a mission.
It was a mission. It was a huge vision. And Vishen, you've been here before. Your whole life sort of revolves around that. So it was all over my Lifebook. It was in my financial and career chapter. It was in my quality of life chapter. It was with one of my best friends. So it was in my social chapter. And then the startup didn't work. It was a very, very difficult situation. As entrepreneurs, these are like our children, right? when they don't work, it's devastating. So after mourning, literally for a bit, I literally had to go into my Lifebook and extract that vision that vision that didn't work out. I had to extract it from every section of my Lifebook. It happens. Lifebook is a dynamic process. It changes as you change. And
I would add to that, anytime you do have something that doesn't work, it gives you an opportunity to look at it anew.
Exactly.
And there's probably a better solution down the way.
Leaves a vacuum that you get to fill with whatever you want to fill. So as far as the question, how often do you update your Lifebook? Man, I mean, some people literally do it every week, I know that there are a lot of Lifebook members that read their Lifebook for 15 minutes with their coffee every morning, and they're taking notes, and they're crossing things out. No, I don't want that anymore. Oh, I got that done. I'm going to add this new thing. Missy and I go through the Lifebook program at least once every 2 years, if not every year, depending on how intense, where we are in our life, how much we have going on. The more we have to think through and to figure out, the more often we do Lifebook. Because I mean, you can't bring too much consciousness to your life. It's as simple as that.
I love that phrase. You can't bring too much consciousness to your life. And now for the final question. How often do you review and update your Lifebook? And you touched on this a little bit, but this is a very common question we get.
I take notes on my Lifebook all year. I have a paper version of my Lifebook. I read it often. I take notes on it all year. And then when Missy and I go through the program every year or so, every year or two, I will tend to do an entire rewrite. What I do update a lot, Vishen, is my life vision. The final chapter of Lifebook, I'm on that like at least once a month. So,
and every year we take a trip and really recalibrate all the categories throughout our whole life.
Yeah, we take a special trip every year called our Life Vision trip, where we go away for a week together, no phones, no email, and it's just me and Missy reviewing the last year, what happened, what was good, what didn't work out for us, what do we want this next year to be about, and we rewrite that one chapter of our Lifebook, and that's just been amazing, right?
It's fun too.
Yeah, it really
Lots
is.
of fun.
And a lot of people want to know, so on Lifebook Quest, do you end up with a Lifebook? Are you creating it on your own?
No, the Quest is not designed to help you develop a Lifebook. The Quest is an introductory course that deeply familiarizes you with the 12 categories and gives you great exercises to get you started making some good progress in each of the 12 categories. From there, you will be ready for Lifebook. You get into Lifebook, and that's a 6-week course that helps you actually develop your Lifebook. The product of my Lifebook Online or the Lifebook Seminar is you leave with a 120-page book that you wrote about the life that you're going to create.
So hope this answers your questions, guys. So Lifebook by Mindvalley has 3 categories. You can start with the introductory Lifebook Quest, where you'll learn about the 12 categories. So many people take the seminar either online or they go take it in person if it's available in their city. And either method that you choose, you're in for an amazing experience. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks so much.